A very good evening, friends. I welcome you all to the daily newspaper analysis brought to you by the Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 2nd April 2024. Here are the list of articles which we are going to discuss today. Before entering our discussion, we are going to have a brief session on UPSC Previous question discussion. So, let us start our discussion.
Guys, look at this prelims question. Look at the first statement. Here, the first statement states that India has more arable area than China. Now let us introspect this statement. See, arable land is the land that can be plowed and used to grow crops every year. See, India has the largest arable land of any country at 16,56,780 square kilometer. That is 50.4% of this total land of India. Moreover, China has only 11.3% of the total land as arable land. So statement 1 is correct. That is, India has the largest arable land in the world, followed by USA. That is, it has the second highest arable land. Okay, so the first statement is correct. See the second statement. The proportion of irrigated area is more in India compared to China. Okay, now let us see this statement. See, India has the highest percentage of arable land under irrigation compared to China. See, the proportion of the irrigated area is around 48% in India and only 41% in China. However, China has invested more in irrigation infrastructure to cope up with the water scarcity and increasing the agricultural productivity. India has a larger area dependent on rainwater and groundwater for irrigation, which are subjected to variability and depletion. So the statement 2 is also correct. And moreover, if we look inside India, Uttar Pradesh has the largest irrigated land and Punjab has the highest percentage of land under irrigation. Note that Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu have the largest tank irrigation. This is because tank irrigation is more common in the rocky plateaus of India. Moreover, tanks are widely used in the states which are located in the peninsular plateau where the rock structure is hard and difficult to dig the canals and wells. Okay, with this basics, now let us see the third statement. The average productivity per hectare in Indian agriculture is higher than China. See, China has the highest agricultural productivity when compared to India. The average productivity per hectare in Indian agriculture is 2.4 ton for rice and 3 ton for wheat. Whereas in China, it is 6.7 ton for rice and 5 ton for wheat. This is because industrialized countries have consistently achieved the high level of agricultural output per worker and per acre over the past 50 years. So obviously, China might have had the higher productivity than India. You can obviously guess this statement. So statement 3 is incorrect. Here the correct option is option B, that is only 2. Now let us see the second MCQ of the day. Look at this MCQ. We have given 3 statements. We have been asked to see how many of them are correct. Okay. See, the correct answer for this question is option D, none. Okay. Let us see why this is correct. Questions like this are quite factual in nature. So, if you are very sure about the answer, then you can attend this question. Otherwise, you can skip this. On the other hand, see, it is based on the basics of geography of India. So, you should be prepared for question like this. Okay. Now look at the first statement. It says, Amarkantak Hills are the confluence of Vindhya and Sahyadri region. See, this statement is wrong. Look at this map. Amarkantak is the meeting point of Vindhya and the Satpura range, not the meeting point of Vindhya and Sahyadri. Okay, now let us talk about Amarkantak. See, it's a pilgrimage town located in the Anuppur district of Madhya Pradesh. It's known for being the source of Narmada, Mahanadi and River Sun. Know that it's also a part of Achana Kumar Wildlife Sanctuary, which is home to diverse wildlife species like tiger, leopard and various other birds. So the statement 1 is incorrect. Now let us see the second statement. It says Bilgiri Rangan Hills constitutes the easternmost part of Satpura. See, this is also incorrect because in this map you can see the location of the hills. See, this Bilgiri Rangan Hills is located in the Samrajnagar district of Karnataka. So they are the part of Eastern Ghats mountain region, not the Satpura. Moreover, the name Bilgiri Rangan means white hills in the local Kannada. And it's because the hill appears white even viewed from the distance. Know that it is characterized by range of hills, valleys and dense forests. Moreover, it is home to wide variety of fauna and flora. And also, Bilgiri Rangan Hills are particularly known for the presence of significant population of Asian elephant. So the statement 2 is incorrect. See the last statement. It says that Sheshasaram Hills constitute the southernmost part of Western Ghats. This statement is also incorrect because Sheshasalam Hills is also known as Tirumala Range. They are the hill range of Eastern Ghats located in the southern Andhra Pradesh. They are bounded by Rayalaseema uplands in the northwest and the Nandyal Valley in the northeast. know that the terrain of Shankar Hills is characterized by dense forest, rocky cliff and valleys. Moreover, the Eastern Ghats unique ecosystem is quite prominent in this region. The Talakona waterfalls, located within the Sri Venkateshwara National Park, is one of the highest waterfalls of Andhra Pradesh. Moreover, the Nagalapuram waterfalls is also a popular destination of nature lovers, etc. See, so the statement 3 is incorrect. So the correct option for this question is option D. See, we have discussed 2 MCQs based on the previous year questions. With this, let us move on to the news article discussion of the day. Look at this article from Hindu. It is about a recent writ petition filed by a lawyer seeking a direction to mandatorily cross-verify the count in EVM with that of VVPAT machine. Okay, this is the crux of the article. See, as we know that this is an election year, so A to Z about elections is very important from exam perspective and it will come directly in the examination. So, in this discussion, we are going to see an important component in the election value chain. It is called electronic voting machine and VVPAT. We are gonna see about these two in our discussion today. Firstly, what is electronic voting machine or EVM? See, EVM revolutionized the Indian elections since their debut in 1982 in an election in Kerala. Know that it was manufactured by Bharat Electronics Limited (BEL) and Electronics Corporation of India Limited (ECIL). See, EVMs ensures secure, transparent and efficient voting process. They were first used nationwide in 2004, replacing the traditional paper ballots. It's to be noted that EVM is designed with 2 units, the control unit and balloting unit. With the EVM, instead of issuing a ballot paper, the polling officer will press the ballot button which enables the voter to cast their vote. A list of candidates' name and or symbols will be available on the machine with a blue button next to it, and the voter can press the button next to the candidate's name to whom they wish to vote for. On continuing our discussion, know that the program used in EVM cannot be reprogrammed in a particular manner. Furthermore, the EVMs are standalone machines which are not accessible remotely from any network. See, what does it mean? It eliminates the chances of getting tampered. Okay, moving forward, let's see about VVPAT in a brief. See, Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail or VVPAT was first used in India in 2013 Noksan Assembly by-election in the state of Nagaland. Since then, it was extensively used nationwide in the 2019 general elections. Know that VVPAT provides a paper trail displaying the candidate's name and a symbol a voter selects on the EVM machine, so that it ensures transparency, allowing the voter to verify their choices. See, in each constituency, VVPAT slips from the randomly selected EVMs are being cross-verified with the votes in the EVM, which results in enhancing the electoral integrity. Typically, in every assembly segment, one polling station is selected randomly for the VVPAT verification. In a nutshell, VVPAT is an independent system which is attached with EVMs. See, it allows the voter to verify that their votes are cast as they have intended. A printer is attached with EVM and is kept in the voting compartment. The printer prints a slip that contains the serial number, name of the candidate and symbol of the candidate for whom the voter has casted the vote. This printed slip remains exposed for 7 seconds under a transparent window, and then it gets cut automatically and fall into a drop box which remains sealed. Okay, this is about the basics of EVM and VVPAT. Moving ahead on our discussion, let us see the pros and associated challenges with respect to EVMs. See, EVMs have significantly enhanced the Indian electoral process by streamlining the voter procedures, reducing the errors and increasing efficiency. According to the data from ECI or Election Commission of India, EVMs have reduced the invalid votes from 4.4% in 1982 elections to 1.8% in 2019, showcasing its improved accuracy. Moreover, it expedited the counting process with results available within some hours compared to the days with paper ballots, thus enhancing the credibility of elections. Furthermore, EVMs have reduced the election expenditures and environmental impact by minimizing the usage of paper. However, on the other side of the coin, challenges to EVM still persist. Allegations of tampering and manipulation have raised concerns about the integrity of elections. So, to address this, ECI has taken measures including introduction of VVPAT systems for improving the transparency. Despite these efforts, doubts linger, leading to the demands for enhanced security measures and audits. So various committees, including the 2017 Election Commission of India Hackathon Committee, have recommended stringent security protocols and increased the transparency to bolster the trust in EVM and ensure the integrity of the Indian elections. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about the important polity topic called electronic voting machine and VVPAT systems from our exam perspective. With this learned points, let us move on to the next news article of the day. This article from Indian Express talks about the debate on a legally guaranteed minimum support price, MSP. In this news article discussion, let us learn some important points from the news article using our mains answer writing approach. This question can be asked in the GS paper 3 under the syllabus mentioned here. Okay, now let me read out the question for you. Critically evaluate the need and feasibility of legalizing the minimum support price, MSP, in India. See here, the key word in this question is critically evaluate. When you are being asked to critically evaluate, you ought to give the positives and negatives of the topic and arrive at a balanced conclusion. So in the introduction part, you can write like that. MSP is a price calculated by the government for different crops, some of which it procures for its food security, buffer stocks, redistribution, inflation mitigation, and stabilization of prices. In this process, farmers get the financial support. Therefore, no government is likely to stop announcing the MSP and procuring crops at this support price. But recently, farmers were on the streets to demand a legally guaranteed MSP. Guaranteeing a minimum support price has both positive and negatives with it. Now let us see some of the points arguing the need for legalizing MSP. This way you can give a link for the introduction part and the main body of the answer. Moving on the first part we can see what are the positives of legalizing the MSP. Now let us see. Legally guaranteed MSP would ensure the farmers a fixed remunerations by financially securing them against the vagaries of the price instability in the grain market. Secondly, it provides security to the farmers from the risk of crop failure due to climate change, pest attack and crop diseases. Since MSP is given to pulses and oil seeds, the legal guarantee would promote crop diversification as well. Farmers would be incentivized to grow less water intensive crops rather than water guzzling crops like rice, wheat, sugarcane. This will reduce the stress on the water resources and other resources. Apart from this, MSP set a baseline or benchmark price. That is, it sends a price signal to the market that if the merchants don't offer high prices, the farmers may not sell them their produce. Thus, it ensures the market price will not be drastically lower than the MSP. Moreover, MSP can help in injecting the financial resources into the rural areas. This will help in solving the problems of rural economic distress which has been exacerbated due to demonetization, COVID-19, etc. For example, increase in the MSP would increase the disposable income of the farmers and it will in turn boost the rural economy. Finally, giving legal guarantee can recognizing the rights of the farmers. See, according to Shantakumar report, only 6% of the farm households are able to sell wheat and rice to the government at MSP. So, the MSP law would give legal rights to the farmers to sell their produces to the agencies like FCI, etc. See, these are all the points you can write in the first part of your answer. Moving on to the second part, you can write challenges in guaranteeing the MSP. You can write like this. Legal guarantee to MSP would put a huge fiscal burden on the government exchequer. This would increase the fiscal deficit of the government and will have deleterious effect on the economy. For example, according to the estimate, 5 trillion would be required for the implementation of the MSP law. Secondly, it would change the production pattern of the crops in the country as farmers would try to grow crops with higher yields even if they are not suitable to their region. For example, farmers growing cotton instead of millets in the drought-prone region of the Marathwada region. Thirdly, higher procurement cost due to MSP will result in the increased price of the food grains, which would eventually affect the lower middle classes and the poor people. Fourthly, legal guarantee to MSP will push away the private traders whenever production is more than the demand. This will in turn lead to government becoming the de facto primary buyer of the most MSP producers, which would be economically unsustainable in the long run. For example, withdrawal of Maharashtra government 2018 order, which made it illegal for a private trader to purchase any goods below the MSP. Then know that it will have an adverse impact on the India's farm exports. See, if MSP is higher than the prevailing rate in the international market, then farmers would be deemed to sell it at the MSP, which will affect the farm export, which has seen remarkable growth in the recent years. Moreover, bringing MSP would lead to violation of the WTO subsidies principle, and India would face opposition in the WTO dispute settlement bodies by the developed nations. For example, US win cases against China at WTO in 2019 in cases of related to Chinese MSP to its agricultural sector. Finally, MSP guarantee will create storage and disposal problem for crops like Niger seed, sesame, sunflower, which will have few takers through PDS system. So you can write all these points in the second body of the answer. Finally, in the conclusion part, you can write like this. About 42% of the Indian population is directly dependent on agricultural activities. 90% of this population, the landless labor, marginal farmers, small farmers, either have no produce to sell or have a very less surplus. Even if they were able to receive a C2 plus 50% MSP price, it would not give them a sufficient income to lead a life of dignity. So we have to look beyond the MSP to get a solution. Maybe along with the MSP, the right combination of intervention can be brought to address the plight of the Indian farmers. See, this is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we have seen elaborately regarding the significance of bringing a law to legalize MSP, and in the second part, we saw about the challenges in legalizing the MSP. So with this learned points, let us conclude this discussion and take up the next news article for our analysis. Guys, look at this article. Indian Meteorological Department recently cautioned about higher than usual heat wave conditions in the months of April and May. Know that these are crucial months for the nationwide polling because of our general elections. Moreover, IMD has advised the Election Commission and individual states to prepare and take necessary measures. This warnings highlights the need for precautions to ensure the well-being of the people during the voting period. See, this is the crux of the article. In our discussion, we will learn about three important geographical concepts: heat waves, heat domes, and anticyclones. Okay, let's start our discussion. Let us start with heat wave. See, heat wave is a condition of high abnormal air temperature. To put simply, during a heat wave, the air temperature is more than the normal maximum temperature. The heat waves usually occurs when the temperature is very hot and prolonged compared to the normal day's expected temperature. Now, let us see the criteria for declaring heat waves in India. Firstly, in the areas of plains and hilly regions, heat wave is considered if the maximum temperature of a station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius or more for plain areas and at least 30 degrees or more for the hilly regions. Okay, now based on the departure from the normal temperature, heat wave will be announced if the departure from the normal is within 4.50 degrees Celsius to 6.40 degrees Celsius. It will be declared severe heat wave if the departure from the normal is greater than 6.4 degrees Celsius. That is, if the normal temperature of the region, say Chennai, is 30 degrees Celsius, if the temperature departure is greater than 36.4, then it will be declared as a severe heat wave. Secondly, with respect to the actual maximum temperature of an area, heat wave will be announced when the actual maximum temperature greater than or equal to 45 degrees Celsius. Similarly, severe heat waves will be announced if their actual maximum temperature exceeds the 47 degrees Celsius. If the above criteria are met in at least 2 stations in a meteorological subdivision for at least 2 consecutive days, heat waves will be declared on the second day. Okay, this is with respect to plains and hilly regions. Now, with respect to coastal areas, when the maximum temperature departure is 4.5 degrees Celsius or more from normal, heat wave may be announced provided the actual maximum temperature is 37 degrees Celsius or more. This is all with respect to the basics of heat waves. Now, let us see the impacts of it. Firstly, it can cause serious health issues like dehydration, heat cramps, heat strokes, etc. These types of health issues affect our financial resources. See, to get rid of the health related complications, we need to spend some money on hospital expenses. So, it basically puts a burden on the finances of the poor people. Secondly, it adversely affects the agricultural sector as it affects the irrigation system, crop yield, and soil moisture. Thirdly, heat wave is associated with high energy consumption. See, during heat waves, to keep ourselves cool, we need some extra electricity to operate the air coolers. This leads to higher energy consumption, even results in power deficiency. See, these are all some of the impacts of the heat waves. Now, let us see the second concept of the day, heat domes. Look at this diagram to understand better. A heat dome occurs when a high pressure ridge traps the hot ocean air in the atmosphere. This condition traps the hot air like a lid on a boiling point. The hot air tries to expand into atmosphere, but the high pressure pushes it toward the ground. This is the basics of heat dome. Now let us know about anticyclones. See, anticyclone is a weather pattern that involves large-scale wind circulation around a central area of high atmospheric pressure. Basically, These are the areas of sinking air that results in high pressure. As you know that when the air sinks, it warms up, leading to warm and dry weather. Moving on our discussion, anticyclones are the centers of high pressure. They are surrounded by closed isobars having decreased pressure outwards. They are much larger in size and area than the temperate cyclones, as the diameter is 75% larger than that of temperate cyclones. Moreover, temperate anticyclones are so extensive that a single anticyclone can cover nearly half of the US. These anticyclones are more common in subtropical high pressure belts and polar high pressure belts, but know that they are practically absent in equatorial regions. Okay, now what is the difference between cyclone and anticyclone? As we have seen earlier, anticyclones are centers of high pressure. They are surrounded by a closed isobars having a decreased pressure outwards, whereas cyclones are centers of low pressure and surrounded by closed isobars of increased pressure outwards. Okay, now moving on, the difference between the cyclone and anticyclone is given in this table. You can go through it. This is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about three important geographical phenomena called heat waves, heat domes, and anticyclones. With these basic points, let us move on to the next news article discussion. Look at this news article. This article is about the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. Let us learn about the history of the observatory in this discussion. First, let us start with Madras Observatory. See, in 1792, the British East India Company set up the Madras Observatory, a pioneering institution in India. Between 1812 and 25, important astronomical observations of the sun, moon, stars, planets were recorded here and stored. The first focused observation of the sun was made in 1878 from the Trigonometric Survey of India, Dehradun. In the past, astronomy in India mainly focused on significant events like eclipses, planetary transits, which attracted attention from the foreign astronomers. Some of these foreign astronomers eventually settled in India and played a key role in developing this kind of institutions. See, during the total solar eclipse on August 18, 1868, in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, spectroscopic observations were made. These observations led to the discovery of helium, the second most abundant element in the universe after hydrogen. On December 12, 1871, at the Madras Observatory, attempts were made for the first time to take celestial and solar photographs during a total annual solar eclipse. Now let us understand how famines impacted the creation of observatories in India. See, the winter monsoon of 1875 brought a very little rainfall to the southern India, which led to severe drought. This drought triggered one of the worst famines in Indian history, affecting the provinces of Madras and Mysore. Know that the famine resulted in the loss of millions of lives, with estimates ranging from 12.2 million to 29 million. People lost their lives between 1875 to 77. The Great Drought was caused by various factors, including solar activity, cool Pacific Ocean conditions, powerful El Nino, stronger Indian Ocean dipole, and warm North Atlantic Ocean condition. Moreover, we should also know about why we should study about sun. See, studying the sun is important because it is the primary source of energy for Earth, and changes on its surface can impact our atmosphere. Based on the evidence linking solar activity to seasonal rainfall patterns in India, the British Raj famine condition recommended regular solar observation. With this all basics, now let us know about Kodaikanal Solar Observatory or KOSO. As I said earlier, due to impacts of famines, the British government is trying to create a solar observatory to regularly study the sun. So, a Charles Smith, a Scottish professor at the Madras Christian College, was tasked with the finding of suitable site for the solar observatory in undivided India. Locations like Leh, Mussoorie, Simla were considered but rejected due to clouds, dust, and unstable atmosphere. Then, Smith conducted observation in the southern India's hilltops, finding them more suitable. So, Kodaikanal in Palani Hills was chosen as the ideal location based on this survey. This led to the establishment of observatory in Kodaikanal. So, in 1893, the Government of India approved a solar physical observatory under the meteorological budget. Smith supervised the construction, becoming the first director of Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. Moving on to C, let us see the early observations in KOSO. See, at KOSO, early observation including examining the sun's disk for spots and freckle. They also traced bright lines from the sun's chromosphere and prominences. Know that John Evershed, the director of KOSO from 1911 to 22, discovered the radial motion of the sunspots, which came to be known as Evershed effect. See, until World War II, Kozo focused solely on the solar physics. Post-war, it broadened its research to include cosmic ray, radio astronomy, ionospheric physics, and stellar physics. In 1952, Kozo begins continuous recording of solar radio noise flux, marking the earliest solar radio observation in India. This is all regarding the discussion. In this discussion, we saw about the history behind the establishment of observatories in India, and in the second part, we saw about Kodaikanal Observatory. This is all regarding the discussion. Now, let us move on to the other article sections. In the sections, we are going to see two important articles which are appeared in the newspaper and having very significant relevance for our examination perspective. Let us see them one by one. Look at this article. It talks about the recent warning given by the ex-diplomats regarding the recent exploded issue of Katchatheevu. See, even though it has become a burning issue due to the elections, the preliminary related facts about the Katchatheevu island is a matter of interest for us. So guys, for more updates regarding the basics about Katchatheevu, please watch our February 29 daily newspaper analysis. Okay, now let us move on to the next article. Look at this article. Reserve Bank of India achieved the unique feat of completing 90 years of operation. It has played a vital role in balancing the growth and controlling inflation, thus becoming a model for the world. See, these are all the words given by Prime Minister while speaking at the commemoration event. Now for our exam perspective, the structure of RBI, the quantitative and qualitative aspects of monetary policy are very important for our exam. So please revise them. With this, let us move on to the next part of our discussion, that is to discuss the preliminary practice questions. Now let us discuss two questions. See the first questions. Consider the following. See, here 4 impacts are given and we are to find whether they are the potential impacts of heat waves. See, the first statement: reduced crop yield, high energy consumption, reduction in soil moisture, dehydration in humans. See, all the points which are given here are the potential impacts of heat waves. So the correct option for the question is option D. See the second question of the day. Consider the following regarding the solar storms. Statement 1. It occurs when the sun emits huge bursts of energy in the form of solar flares and coronal mass ejections. See, this statement is correct because it indicates the definition of solar storm. See the second statement. It disrupts the satellites and the electronic power grid and other electronic communication system. See, this is also correct. It is a potential impact of the solar storm. So both the statements are correct. So the correct option is option C. The mains question based on today's discussion is displayed here. Interested aspirants can write and get back to us. If you like today's video, like, comment and share it with your friends. For more updates regarding UPSC preparation, subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you very much.